I understand that. Yeah, is the same. Here Argentina is not a country that have in all places snow in winter, but cities near to the Cordillera de los Andes sometimes have a huge problem of snow in winter. But not in Buenos Aires or not in this area of Patagonia. North Patagonia is cold in winter, but in the seaside, in the east coast, the Atlantic coast is not so cold like in the area of Los Andes in the mountain area.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah, certainly. And I spent Scott and I have known each other for, oh goodness, 30 years or so, and we were both working in telescope business for different companies in the 90s, and which seems a long time ago, but yeah, we were both out in the Southern California area. And then oddly enough, we both came back, we both came to this area independently of each other. And then just, we kind of met again by accident and kind of like, I know you. So that was a very interesting day.
Yes. Yes. It's really nice. And here is a mix of desert and in the transmission from the eclipse we had a really windy situation mixed with a little of raindrops and was when I watched the transmission I I was oh my god, it was really difficult and the transmission was really bad and because I never supposed that the signal of that was in my phone was so bad. But Scott drove the situation without problem. It's it's really Scott. You never.
What's that?
Yeah, what's up? Okay.
What did I do wrong now?
No, yes. When I watched later the transmission and my face many times was like a picture, not a transmission of video. No, and this noise of the noise of the wind. Come on, well,
Yeah.
we try. I have all completely cover of dust because
Oh, I bet.
yes.
Uh-huh.
I forget take a picture of the mount. Yes, completely dusted.
Yeah.
Completely yes, full of dust to send to Sherry.
Were you glad to get a shower and get cleaned up?
Yes, when I returned, yes, the problem was that we was at from Balcheta to here. We have 100 kilometers of
Goodness.
road. Yes, I first I say okay, we can meet at 7 p.m. But no, we we lost a lot of time talking with the friends, we was really tired to return fast from here to here, and well, it wasn't possible to meet in this same day. But well, now I'm here.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
thank you.
good.
Daniel, you're a specialist of eclipse, and I am only uh, only I am in sponsor for the
Guys like Fred
stargazers.
Espenak are specialist of eclipse.
No, Daniel is a genius. I know.
Maybe Daniel is. I don't know. Well, hello everybody. This is Scott Roberts from Explore Scientific, and today I have with me Dr. Daniel Barth from the University of Arkansas. He heads up STEM science learning at in I think the entire state of Arkansas. And
Yes.
Daniel and I have known each other for a very long time. He used to work at a telescope shop called Scope City in California. He was just remarking we've known each other for about 30 years, which kind of makes me feel a little old there, Daniel. And also we have Cesar Brollo, and Cesar is in Las Grutas, Argentina, where it's kind of like a resort. I see the ocean in the background, and he's all relaxed. He's sitting down at the bar. He said this was the only place that had internet in Las Grutas. So,
Oh yes, it's the best place.
It's the only
yes,
place.
but it's not in Las Grutas. Las Grutas have an excellent internet. But here is it's more natural place. It's from Las Grutas. The name is San Antonio Este. It's a place where few people came here because it's more natural. For example, here I have.
Certainly looks beautiful.
This is a whale bones.
Whale bones. Oh wow.
Whale bones. Whale ribs. Yeah.
Okay, so
Amazing.
normally we have Kent Martz with us and Tyler Bowman on today, but they're both working their brains out getting shipments out for Christmas. So we are letting them do that, but we were very fortunate to get Dr. Barth on today and to finally track down Cesar. So that's great. And we're going to start with Daniel to show one of the STEM presentations that he gives. So I'm going to give you the stage there, Daniel.
Well, thank you, Scott. Hi, everybody. It's always a pleasure to be on with the Explore Alliance, and Scott has such a vibrant, dynamic audience and community of astronomy enthusiasts around the world. It's really a pleasure. The program that I run at the University of Arkansas is called Astronomy for Educators, and that's also the title of my award-winning textbook. And if you, I'll have Scott post a link. The nice thing is the university publishes this book as an open resource, so it's free, available free as a download to anyone who wants it. Teachers, parents.
Link for it, just send it to me in chat, and I'll put it in the.
Yes, I will send that to you in chat. So I'm going to send the web address.
There's a lot of people that still really don't understand some of the basics of how our solar system works, the phases of the moon, why we have different seasons, So there's I think there was a video put out called A Private Universe, and it was a documentary about Harvard graduates, okay, and what they know, okay, about the solar system and how it works.
That's a horror movie.
It is. It is a horror movie. It's crazy, including professors that are getting it all wrong. So
it's really interesting, and I have some students who love the way I teach, and have others who hate it. Because my science students and my young teachers, I'm always kind of rubbing their noses in their ignorance and saying, well, here's where the boundary is. And that's what we're kind of going to do today, real quickly. One of the very first things that I start with is we say, oh, how many of you know the Earth has a moon? And I'm being a little sarcastic, and everybody, oh, yeah, we do, Doc. Sure we do. I say, okay, what's it look like? And they go, well, it's round sometimes. And so I go, okay. And I start out and I give everybody, I said, here's a piece of paper with 4 circles on it. And I said, the moon looks like this tonight. And I'll go ahead and color and say, everybody copy this. Now I say, okay, now in ink, please, fill in what you think the phases of the moon are going to look like every 2 or 3 days for the next week to 10 days. What's the change going to look like? And at this point, they're all not liking me because they're all realizing, although they've seen the moon all their life, they've never really observed the moon. They've not taken the time to observe the changes. And so they make some guesses. And then over the next few days, I'll text them and I'll say, go out and look at the moon now, make a sketch. And they come back and they realize what they thought was true wasn't true. And I point out to them, okay, your first drawing was a hypothesis, and then you did your observation and see whether your model is any good.
Yeah.
So at that point, we say, okay, let's talk about what the phases of the moon are like. And we talk about the idea that it's crescent, that it's quarter phase, gibbous, full, new. And we go ahead and we model some of these. And actually, we work with salt dough. But you could do this with clay. I've seen it done with Oreo cookies. I've seen it done with real cookies, shortbread cookies in this phase of the moon. And then we have the students make these are made out of salt dough. Okay. And they go ahead and they make the various phase shapes. And I say, okay, now here's a circle, arrange them in the correct order. And once again, they're mad at me because I'm making them feel dumb because they don't know how to do this. And so, but you have your hint. You observe the moon for 2 weeks. So let's start with that. And we eventually, well, why do they face opposite directions? And I try to impress on them, well, this is the waxing side. You're watching sunrise, right? You're seeing the line of the sunrise advance across the face of this world. And, oh, here's waning moon. This is sunset. So you're seeing the sun pass away and the surface is passing into darkness again. And they go, but it takes a month. Oh, okay, yeah, the moon rotates differently than the Earth does. Oh. And so they get this model and they say, oh, you can make this a calendar. And now they're proud of themselves. They're feeling smart now. Okay, now we feel smart. And I say, okay, well, that's great. So now you know what happens next. Yeah, are we smart now? Can we take a test now? Because we know this now. Can we take a test because we're smart? And I'll say, okay, but how does it work? Use your model and explain to me how this happens. And they realize that now they know what happens next, but they don't understand how it works. And at this point, you get the oh, well, this has to be the shadow of the Earth falling on the moon, right? No, that's an eclipse, and that's not what this is. And so at this point, my students are now, at this point, when I ask a question, no one will raise their hand anymore.
No one raises their hand.
No one raises their hand. I said, okay, who has an answer to my question? They all sit there, they scowl, and they try to look small, and they don't want to answer. I said, who would raise your hand for a Snicker bar wrapped in a dollar bill? No one will raise their hand. And I say, okay, well, let's start with our model with the salto. It's those phases are flat. It says the moon's flat. Students go, no, Doc, the moon is round. I said, round like a plate or round like a ball? Round like a ball. How do you know? And now they're mad at me again. Well, and they don't know. And here's the terrible, this is a big indictment of American education and really world education. They don't know because their science education has been based on 3 things: learn, believe, repeat.
Yep.
Learn this, what I'm telling you. Believe it because I'm your teacher or it's in the book. And now repeat it on a test. And now you're smart. But you have no idea. You've been told and you believe, but you don't know. You haven't discovered.
That's how you train factory workers. Okay.
Very good. Precisely so. And so I invite them to discover that the moon is round. And I don't have it here with me, but what I actually have is I have a little nylon strap, and I have glued to that a bunch of quarters, coins.
Okay.
And then we wrap it around a basketball. And while you look at the point in the front, and it's round, and as they move around the side of the disc, you see that the shape goes from round to elliptical, right? It becomes my favorite. I had a fourth grade teacher say, oh, it's more ovally now. I said, that's right. As it goes around the side, it's more ovally. So now let's go out with any small telescope. You know, the classic 60 millimeter Kmart special on the wobbly tripod.
Sure.
Go out and look at the moon, and you find whenever you look toward the edge in any direction, the craters go from round to elliptical. I'm using my head as a sphere now. And so I said, now, this idea that if the craters are all round, I said, you don't think they're specially designed so they're a different shape on the edges, do you? They said, no, that's silly. I said, okay, so if the craters are all round, and no matter where you look as you move toward the edge, they become more elliptical, then now you've discovered that the moon is round.
Yes.
Now they're feeling smart again. So I said, okay, let's see if we can make a model of the Earth-Moon system where both objects are round. And I tell them every model lies. Every model trades off some things that they ignore, some things that they get wrong, because it's more convenient to show other things. And so I say, okay, let's make a model of the Earth and the moon that are round. And here's, I think you can see these. Here's two lovely models. And this one shows North America, South America, and Cesar is down here in Argentina, right? And so this one shows the moon, and it has the Maria and craters and ray systems and other things, and they're both round. Okay, this model lies. The moon is the same size as the Earth in my model. And I say, okay, now, the moon goes around the Earth. So if the moon goes around the Earth, and we say, oh, we've got to make sure that the lit side is always pointed to the sun. I said, do you see phases now? And there's no phases. They look at it this way, and the moon goes around, and they say, but there's no phases. I had an argument with a teacher on Facebook for a while, and I put up this demonstration. And he said, it doesn't work. It's wrong. I said, no, I'm quite sure it's correct. And he said, but only half of the moon and the Earth are lit at any one time. I said, okay, go into a closet, take a candle and a tennis ball, and tell me if you can light up more than half of the tennis ball without setting it on fire. And I said, single source, round object, only half of it will be lit. And he goes, but it still doesn't work. And he kept arguing with me. And I said, look, this isn't a religious service. This isn't Sunday school. I'm not asking you to believe me. Be a scientist, damn it. Just go make the model, get a couple of ping pong balls, make the model, and see. Try it. That's what scientists do. They verify each other's work, or they refute it, right? And if I'm an idiot, then you can post pictures and show how I'm wrong. And I'll learn something, and I'll be smarter now. So it's good. I didn't hear from him after that. I don't know.
What happened?
So I'm going to show you really quickly how to make these models and how to set up an experiment on your own, because many astronomers, even people who are enthusiasts, we always see the moon from the same place. We're here on the Earth. The club of people who've gone somewhere else and looked at the moon is very small. There's about 9 or 10 people still alive who've done that. And so we make these models, and it's good to this model more than anything changes your perspective. It enables you to set up a solar system on the tabletop that allows you to move your perspective from earthbound to a couple of million miles out in space, so you can have a real idea of watching the system work from the outside and see how it works. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with some ping pong balls and some masking tape. And we simply wrap the masking tape around the equator. And then we get some cheap black spray paint here, and we spray paint our model. And when we're done, we end up with this lovely ping pong ball that's half black and half white.
Very nice.
Now, if you're a teacher, or if you're a parent doing this for several kids who are learning at home, you can go ahead and tape these up and set them in the bottom of a cardboard box and spray down into the box. You can do a dozen or 20 or 30 of these at a go. So if you're a teacher, you can do them kind of wholesale. But once you get these, then at that point, and we're going to make a moon today, At that point, and I'm going to do this very quick and dirty, at that point, we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to switch cameras so that you can see my hands. It's a lot easier. There we are. You're seeing my desktop here.
Okay.
And so now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to make dots, and I'm going to outline some Maria. And here's fertility, and here's tranquility, and here's serenity. And we have Mare Humorum down here. And we just go ahead and we darken these up with some dots. Now, you can take a pencil, you can shade them. I will tell you, ping pong ball plastic is kind of strange. It repels. If you color it with pencil or with colored pencils or with water-based markers, you end up getting this stuff all over your hands. Let's go ahead and make a little crater, and let's go ahead and make a ray system, because new craters have ray systems. Old craters are just circles. They don't see them. And we've got some Maria up near the top. This would be Mare Frigorum. And Plato is a real dark crater up here. So we've got this lovely model. And obviously you can take time and you can make very detailed models. Here's a model made by a student. This is of the South Pacific, and there's Australia, and
it's beautiful.
The coastline is Indonesia and Java and the Aleutian Islands, and it's crazy accurate. It's got the student used whiteout to make a little typhoon in the Pacific and all sorts of crazy stuff. But I tell my students it's not about art, because every planet everywhere in the galaxy, in the universe, works the same way. So here's one another student did. And this student said, well, I can't draw, so I'm just going to make some green continents and some blue sea, and I ran out of markers, so I colored it. I said, it's fine. It works great. It's half dark, it's half light. It's beautiful. And once we get our moon model here, we're going to go ahead and we're actually going to mount it. So we're going to take a coin. You see some of these I've used soft drink like Gatorade caps. The other thing you find is that super glue doesn't work very well with ping pong ball plastic. How do I know all these? Ask me how I know. Elmer's doesn't work, but your liquid nails or your silicone glue works great. And I'm just going to go ahead and position it on there. The only thing I'm going to make sure of is that my terminator, my line between light and darkness, is straight up and down. So now I've got my lovely model of my moon, and it's finished. And now I can make my solar system model. I'm going to set this one aside and let it dry. And I'm going to use these two because they're mounted and they're the same height. Now, I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to use a drawing aid here. Oh, look, it's a clock. And this is all, Cesar, this is all what we call low-cost science, with the idea that you're going to do something that's cheap and easy that any teacher, any parent could do. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my clock, and I'm going to mark off 12 and 3, 6 and 9. Yeah. And I'm going to mark off the quarter points at 45-degree angles. And the crazy nice thing about using the clock is that everything gets marked off very nicely. And now I can say, the sun, and I'm writing sideways here, so I'm hoping I'm doing this correctly. To the sun is that way. And do I have a sun model? Yes, I do. And the ping pong ball sprayed yellow. Now, in reality, of course, the sun, 150 million kilometers away, 93,000 miles, whatever. So we're not going to worry about that too much. But the one thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that as we rotate around, the moon always, the bright side always faces in the same direction. And now, of course, as you're watching it there on the video, you see that I move this around here and people are objecting. Well, wait, the phase looks just about the same all the time. I'm seeing the moon half lit, half dark. Where's the phase come from? And this was the essence of the argument that I was having with the teacher on Facebook, and I said, well, what you've forgotten is that you're trapped here on the earth.
Right.
So I said, you have to go ahead and stick your mug down here and get your eye down there in the paper. Now, if you're doing this with a camera, you can put your camera here.
Yeah.
And you get some very lovely pictures if you put your camera here and you're taking pictures looking over the moon, over the earth, toward the moon. And when I get my face down here, I'm seeing the moon as a crescent phase. When I'm looking this way, I only see the dark portion. This is new moon. And since the moon moves in an anti-clockwise direction, here's waxing crescent, here's first quarter. And I see that, gee, if I'm here and I'm looking at the new moon, I see that I only see this. The earth is rotating anti-clockwise as well. So I see that I only see this waxing moon in the dark, whereas this waning moon, hey, guess what? I only see that when I'm on the lighted side. That's why sometimes the moon is visible in the daytime, sometimes at night. So this model is explaining several things. How do the phases change? Why do we see the waning moon in the daytime and the waxing moon in the evening? How long does it take the moon to go around? 28 days. That means that this section from here to here, this is 7 days. Right? That's 7 days. So that's a week. So it takes a week to go from new moon to first quarter. Why do they call it first quarter moon? Because it's 1/4 of the way around the orbit. And we get to see the changes in phases. Students with smartphones go ahead and take pictures at 10 or 12 points around the orbit. They get to make a nice GIF, which shows an animation of the phases changing. And you can go even farther with this model because this model has several things that it doesn't explain. The Earth's axis is actually tilted, which this model doesn't show. The Earth is actually going around the sun at the same time the moon is orbiting. This model doesn't show that. So this model shows several unique things. Among others, this model shows that it shows a couple of things. First of all, it shows that science is a process. We discover things and other people can confirm them, and that's how we know they're valid. Secondly, it says science is a process where we take our model and our model gives us predictions. Then we go out and observe. Does our model match nature? Yes or no? What parts of our model are correct? What parts need to be improved? And this does a lot more than show children a list of shapes and say, oh, this is what crescent looks like. Here's what gibbous looks like. This model shows how these things are created by the motion of the moon around the earth, illuminated by a single source distant from them. And it explains a whole lot of things, and it engages the student or the astronomer in the process of discovery. Building this with a couple of ping pong balls and some quarters or Gatorade caps and setting down, when you do this and you start to make your model, and then you go ahead and say, hey, let's, sorry, I'm struggling to get my graphics here. You can go ahead and put your face down there and look and say, gee, let me draw what the phases look like. What's interesting now, your model of ping pong balls has made predictions, and guess what? Your predictions match your observations. The more sophisticated model should always match and verify details from the simpler model, but it should explain more things. Right. This new model using ping pong balls explains how does the moon's spherical shape create the phases? How does the moon's motion create the phases? It explains everything the old model does, but it goes farther. And not only does it go farther, but a good theory doesn't just explain everything you know. A good theory points out new places to investigate and learn things. A good theory suggests new questions. It doesn't just answer old ones. Science is a process. It's a human endeavor. And science is also sometimes a destructive process. Karl Popper said that scientists gather together to destroy everyone else's theories, and the last one standing gets to be in the textbook. And so this model explains what happens. And because children discover it, because people discover it as they make the model and put it together, they don't just know because they've been told and because it's going to be on the test. Oh, look, I discovered that the moon's round shape.
That's right.
And its motion around the earth create phases. And it's not a shadow because half of the moon is always in shadow. And this doesn't include the dynamic action of the rotating earth and lots of other things. But, oh, well, we need a new model to explain those other features too. We need something to improve. And so now students are not just absorbers of data to be regurgitated and repeated. Yeah. Students are now discoverers. And for any astronomer who observes the moon, the chance to build this helps them understand what they're looking at. And not only that, but one of the beauties of this model costs about 50 cents.
Yeah.
No offense, Scott. I know you sell a lot of scientific equipment, and you can tell us if you were to make a planetary
out of 50 cents, then it's
if you were going to make a planetary model that had, the Earth and the Moon and the Sun, and here's Mars and Jupiter and Saturn, right, and you were going to show the motions of the planets, and you can use this to prove that the Sun must be in the center, because if you use the planet Venus, Venus has phases, sure, Mars does not. And if the Sun is in the center, this is obvious. If the Earth is in the center, you can't make it happen. Galileo didn't get arrested because he proved the Earth was a planet. Galileo got arrested because he shot down Aristotle and proved that he was wrong. And these models, how much would it cost for a full motion planetarium with the Sun and 6 or 7 planets? You're talking $1,000, $1,500. And you're going to tell the student, don't touch that. That's expensive. And now if a kid steps on his ping pong ball, you say, okay, that was bad, Billy. Get another ping pong ball and make another world.
That's right.
And when they're done, you say, take this home. And I tell my young teachers, I say, you want to look absolutely bloody brilliant? Yeah. You have your kids discover the lunar phases, and then on back to school night, have them teach their visiting administrators. You guys are going to look like rocks. And Scott, I know we've gone through this very quickly, but you've got the website for my book. I'm hoping everyone watching will download it.
We already posted.
There are 36 activities in there. They're all low cost. They're all designed to be less than $1 per child per activity. They're all designed to be done for $1 or less. So doesn't matter where you are. I just finished this week. I did a 3-week colloquium for teachers in India, all across India. Shrishti Astronomy Group and the Office of Astronomy Development sponsored me to come and do a program there. And I did 3 2-hour programs, one each week for 3 weeks. And so we have teachers and universities in South Africa, Australia, Malaysia, Thailand, Japan, China. I know there's some in South America. Forgive me, Cesar. I don't know which countries in South America are using this, but I know there are about 25 countries around the world are using this text now as a primary resource. And it's written at a level that any homeschool parent, any teacher can use it. And I don't really assume that you know any astronomy to start out with. I tell my teachers that, you know what, you know plenty of astronomy, you just don't know how to teach it. You don't know how to explain it to someone else. The other fact that I tell all my teachers and all my homeschool parents is that every person on the entire earth is smarter than they can express to you. Scott, you're a lot smarter than you can explain to me. You have more knowledge in your head than you can eloquently get out on paper
Oh yeah, that's
or
true.
in words. We all do. And so I tell my teachers and my fans that one of the main things is to teach a child to express what they know.
We don't understand all the information that's in it.
Right. And so I tell the teachers, you don't have to learn lots more astronomy. You have to learn to understand and teach and express what you already know and share it with people. That's what makes you happy.
Stephen Hawking pointed out in a lecture. He said, if you can't pose a question and answer the question in one sentence, not like a long sentence, but like in a few words, you don't understand it yourself.
I think that's Richard Feynman.
You know, you're still working it out in your head.
I think he's quoting Richard Feynman.
Maybe. But he did that during a lecture. It was pretty funny. It was.
Yeah.
Yes, be a lecture is amazing.
Well, not.
Yeah.
So, Cesar, what do you think?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. The system of the ping pong balls. Really, I understand you that is every instrument that you have at your hands to teach is so important. Education, astronomical education is a open door for a lot of different because it's not only it's science, of course, but it's easy for the kids when they understand something of astronomy, they are more happy to know maths or physics, and they take the open. For example, the things in the eclipse, we choose a group to be a sponsor and accompanying. Going to this group that is a young astronomers group. Really, in our business, we had different opportunities to be an sponsors for the eclipse, but we choose maybe the less marketing group that we don't choose the the TV channels this time. We choose educational project. The name is Osiris Group, and really we was really happy to go with this group to the eclipse in Barcheta, because when you watch kids, teenagers with their telescope, filters, making experiments, it's amazing because really we enjoy this, and it's for us it's an opportunity to make something really positive. And really I love your system of ping pong balls, because it's really didactic. We say didactico in Spanish. I think maybe it's, and things like, for example, that kids sometimes need to ask about, for example, the tides. Here now, the tide is low. It's a good example of that you tell us because it's directly comparing with the moon phases. And here, for example, we have around 9 meters between the low and high tide. And this is the things that say, okay, do you have an opportunity? For example, the highest tide in the year was the eclipse day. Because why? And this is the opportunity, or to ask to the people, ask to the kids especially, to talk about the things. And it's real that, as you tell us to the people, that the people normally think that know, but really don't know how the things works.
Yes.
This is
very true.
When you watch me the clock, I love it this because it's perfect because you have 7 days in a quarter is perfect. Is it the best way? Really, I need to make this for our next presentation because normally with
Thank you.
this, Daniel, really is a pleasure. And for next time, I like to invite a member of Cities Grove, but a kid, because my friend Diego Galperin, he told me, no, I don't have English, but I don't have English. Of course, me,
Your
I
English is
told
better
him,
than my Spanish.
You're speaking to
no,
us.
no, this is. Thank you.
A bunch
You're
of people
really
all
a
over the
good
world.
person, Daniel. But
You're doing pretty good.
normally the students here in Argentina have better English than their parents because we pay the English lessons for our kids, and they talk a lot more. My kids, my son, for example, talk English like
Yeah.
American.
My Spanish in California was limited to talking about test scores and attendance and
Yes,
behavior
yes.
with parents. No estudiar.
No estudiar. No estudiar. Está bien. It's okay.
Yeah. So
Oh, it's a nightmare. Spanish, I know that have the verbs, and we suffer this in the school because we
too.
have a, yes, I suffered in our own language.
the really nice thing about this sort of thing with the crazy ping pong balls. So
Yes,
what I
it's
found is that in the
international.
classroom, all the students would separate into language groups. So I would have Korean-speaking students, Spanish-speaking students. The Spanish-speaking students would be working together, talking in Spanish. And they would build the model and understand it because it works for them.
Yes.
And then after they understood the idea, then you give them the English language words to communicate and discuss. Instead of, I don't know if your science class was like this, Scott, I know yours was. You start out studying something new. Here's a list of vocabulary words. So here's a word that means these other words. And for students who are Spanish speakers or Korean or Vietnamese or Russian or whatever, it doesn't matter. They're looking at, you're really giving them this huge task in English. And then you're saying, and now we're going to use the English that you don't know very well to talk about
Yes.
it.
The planets.
And so
Yes.
what I do is reverse that. I say, okay, we're gonna make this model, and you can discuss it in Korean or Russian or Spanish, whatever, it doesn't matter, Portuguese. And
Absolutely.
once you understand, and everyone sees how it works because they built it and they tested it. And then, okay, now we're going to learn how to say the things you've seen in English. So we have Terminator and Maria and Crater and Ray and
yes.
Orbit. And now I understand because I have the knowledge already, and you're giving me a word to describe it. And it means more, it sticks more. And they feel proud of themselves because now I can explain orbits and craters and phases to you. And even if the English is a little broken, the knowledge is intact. The knowledge is whole.
Yes.
And it's very powerful.
Absolutely. And another thing that is very interesting between English and Spain is that astronomers, we use the same or very similar words, because a lot of words in astronomy came from Latin.
Yes.
And this is nice because when you go to an international search party, I visited South Carolina, not South Carolina, sorry, Georgia, for an search party. I told this to Scott Roberts, and for me it was 20 years ago. I had really less English than now. But when I started to talk with the people about astronomy, and we say terminador, for example, terminador is the same word in English that Spain, or craters, or maybe few words, stars, estrellas, but a lot of, first of all, the names of the names are the same.
Yes.
only a little difference between Luna, Moon, Sun, or Sol, but the most of this are the same or very similar to understand the words. And the system of education is completely international. When you started to show this, you said, "Come on, this is perfect for our next presentation. We need to copy this." Sorry, but with your permission, because it's a great system to teach kids. Most of the last eclipse for me was watch the kids
Yes.
understanding the eclipse, because the group was with the mission was went to the sorry go to the mission of, first of all, not only see the eclipse, if not teach about the eclipse, how the eclipse is, who is the eclipse, how to work the eclipse, the light, the moon, the sun, and make to the kids think about this, and
Yes,
make some experiments in the place.
absolutely.
I have
And
pictures of the event, because when I had time to between the totality, we was really cloud. We had a cloudy sky, and
Hmm.
I took pictures of the kids, because for me, I was amazed for the interest of the kids in
yes,
their experiment, their telescope, their filters. Really, we was really proud. We was proud in my work in our company to be a sponsor for these kids, because really they need all of things about systems of educational, or they have a great program from the with it's a private program, but they receive some helpings from the University of Rio Negro, but it's more a private program, because maybe in the public school you don't have a really enthusiastic or big program for astronomy.
Yeah, right. And that's always a problem. It's always
Yes,
a
it's
problem. Yeah. Um,
well,
Cesar, you came to the show with some images of the eclipse. Did you
yes,
are those loaded up? Can you share some of
yes. If
that
you like,
stuff?
yes, I can share if you
Yeah.
like some
Yeah, I
pictures.
imagine. I mean, when you're seeing an eclipse, I mean, you're watching the dance of the planets live in front of you, and it's so dramatic, you know. Um,
Let me see if you are watching the pictures.
yes. Uh-huh. I
Okay,
see.
okay. Well, we another group, the Balcheta point of observation was organized by the people of Osiris, the group for astronomy kids. The name is the name of Osiris is an educational project for kids and teenagers interested in astronomy. Another group that visit us was Bella Vista El Cosmos. Bella Vista El Cosmos is the group that I'm sponsored to, and we are working in the historic solar observatory, and these guys are working are assembling their telescope. This was in the 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
This is me and my
Can
son. I
Caesar,
am me. Yes,
Caesar, can you
yes,
make them more large so they can see the photos? Are you able to? We just
yes.
see
Let me.
thumbnails right now. We see
Ah,
thumbnails.
yes, yes, yes. Yes, I understand. Sure. Okay, this is me and my son Agustin working, preparing the mount for the image and transmission to the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have a solar screen too. This is from, sorry, this is
Can you
from
make the
Osiris
image
Grove.
bigger? Can you make the image bigger? More big,
Um,
small right now.
Now it's okay because I'm sharing. Let me know if I'm sharing correctly the screen. Okay. No, I understand you.
You
Yes,
understand now?
because it's different. No. Yes, I'm sorry. No, yes.
I was
The
going to get
problem
out my
is
magnifying glass.
no. Sure. Yes. The
Yeah.
problem is that I'm. Let me
There we
know.
go.
There we
Okay.
are.
All right.
Okay. No. Yes. It's different. Sorry. Yes. Understand. I make the same mistake last time. Yes.
It's okay.
It's okay now. It's okay.
That's
Yes.
why we're here. That's why I'm
It,
here.
it's okay now. Okay.
Very good.
Okay. This is with around we had this point three or four maybe 400 people here. It's a lot for a situation of pandemic. We was really telling with the people use mask, and an open area, but we was all possible to talk with the people about the take care about the COVID, but really with the wind, I think that the COVID was really low possibilities to to go
Maybe.
to anywhere. Yes, this is the Servicio Meteorológico Nacional. We attract visit us to take real measures about temperature, wind in the cliffs, people with the wind, and you know that. You really felt this in my transmission. Really the wind was near to 50 kilometers per hour, and
Wow.
yes, and 70 sometimes was short times of 70 or 70 kilometers per
Oh
hour wind.
boy. It's very
Yes.
windy.
Yes. There are all the kids from Osiris Grove. This was I have my T-shirt, of course, Osiris.
Mm-hmm.
And next time, I think that I like to invite one of these kids to talk about the activities of the grove, if you
Oh yeah.
like, Scott.
Yeah, please.
Yes, it's me. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes, with a foreign yes, I don't remember for the desert the French foreign legion or legion. I don't remember the
French
name in English.
Legion. French
French
Legion.
Legion, yes, they use
Yeah.
something like it from the desert. Yeah, my
Yeah.
my cap was really helpful for this situation.
Yeah.
Yes. First that I found a lot of friends in the Balcheta event. This is the kids. This is the guy Diego Galperin, the
Turtles.
director. Yes, Diego Galperin make a really a huge work because they preparing all the trip from the mountainside to here to Balcheta really, and here too because they make a lot of work with the kids in Las Grutas, making special talkings, meets, and the kids are genius, are so people so fantastic, and really they deserve the all work that we can do it, but really not me. The work that make Osiris grow for the kids is amazing. Diego Galperin, this guy, is
Yeah.
really a genius.
Hmm.
One of the pictures of Bella Vista Cosmos,
Wow. A lot of activity on the sun. Look
a
at
lot of activity. Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
from the same place in Balcheta. the kids with their telescope and part of with the filter. Maybe
Yes.
you can see here. Um, they was amazing to make this. The best part is when they have the opportunity to use a telescope and make this. So it's amazing because it's of course that they film the the all eclipse for
Yeah.
to make a measure of the time. They make something like the Einstein experiment that we make more hard to make because we have a lot of clouds. This is look this. It's amazing. Was not so big like the San Juan because in San Juan the node we have around 5,000 people, but here in between 300 and 400 people was a lot really.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the most popular places in the eclipse. Oh, see,
Ah, I
this
like
this
this.
sure this experiments was very fun,
Yeah.
very fun because every member of a series or invited people, we can put a hole to make the shape of the shape
The eclipse. Yeah.
yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. It's the best way to make a single experiment to
Yes.
show to the kids, and really they well, of course that they kid this kid don't really know about the that all is spheric in the space, and but really the many of kids, this is my car that uses like a center of operations to
Okay.
for image because
In
yes was
control.
sure, yes, my old car
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we call it Enterprise
Oh.
because yes, the people I have this car from 2004 and it's a 7 6 in Argentina. It's normal have a very old car because here they are really expensive to buy a new car. I'm buying a new car now, but I love this because this car was my company in many star parties and eclipses. I had make travel try trips for every place in the country. Well, here you can see the name of the company, the tripods, people from Bella Vista and people from Osiris, a lot
Yeah.
of people, a lot of people in the eclipse, and
So,
you
how
know,
many people here do you think this was their first eclipse?
uh, well, for my wife, for example, was the first one. She was
Yeah.
amazed with the face because the first of all, I remember that for my wife was the first eclipse, and in the craziness of the totality that you listen, the people the people screaming Balcheta,
Yeah. Balchetta. Yeah.
Balcheta. Yes, and, and and I was searching the face of my wife face because I need to see the and she was so amazing watching the sky, and a lot of people told me that maybe half of the people that came to Valcheta node was the first time, but in Valcheta know a lot of people that came to last year to San Juan came to Valcheta, but another half never seen an eclipse.
Ever. Yeah.
Yes, the first eclipse. Maybe the half of the people that came. And here was very interesting because Diego Galperin make open meet with physics. I need to say thank you to because I steal these pictures to Mariana Mancino. Yes, I'm a stealer of pictures. Sorry, Mariana Mancino, but I it's the only picture that I have to my another friend and organizer, Gabriel Bengochea, is a physics from from IAFE, and he make a toll for the kids, and this was very interesting because without money, without only with the interest, totally volunteers. Really, they work with idea to teach to explain to the
Yes.
people a lot of things, and this is very very good. This is one of my pictures that is horrible, but was
I think it's lovely.
yeah, but this is one of the pictures in the totality. Is the problem is that with the wind, I have a movements,
Oh yeah.
and
Still,
I
you got the prominences, you got the
but
Chronicles.
yes, it's a little
There's
movement,
many
but it's
people that
okay.
don't get any pictures at all.
Exactly.
Yes, and was it crazy because we are talking. I was talking with you,
Yeah.
put the take the button to
Uh,
take some pictures. This
right.
I love this. It's a picture of the Facebook of series, the kids and the no so kids that are the because for example the kids that grow are going to be the teachers for the younger kids.
Yes.
And I love it. This is a picture of, let me see if I can put the SharePoint file info. Yes. uh, the name of this picture was
Oh,
taken
15
from a
years old.
series. Yes, Manu Santiago Randucci de 15 años.
Oh,
And this is nice because I saw this picture and say, okay, this is much better than my picture because he had 15 years old, and it's a genius. He's going to
15.
be.
This is his first.
Yes.
Wow.
Really, it's very important when you have a kids with 15
Yeah.
years old, and it's
Yes.
interesting to go and take the picture. I understand and love this. This is amazing. Well, this is the map where we go from Las Grutas to Valcheta, and you have here, 110 kilometers
Yes.
where we move. Well, this was all.
It's great. It's great. Yes, I'm going to play a couple of the movies here that I captured from the. Let's see. Here we go.
Yes, yes, like a football stadium.
Yes, and then there's one more.
my camera don't. Maybe here. Yes, I never seen the complete transmission. Yes, I love this.
There's one though, and then Jetta.
Yes, yes, it's incredible. Yeah. Yes, I remember. You can listen to people.
Yeah.
No, it was a craziness,
Anyway,
and
yeah,
the tripod with your face in the Zoom, and the
right.
people told with you telling bad shit.
Yes, yes. So,
Yes, because we transmit with the cell phone because
mhm. How do you guys feel? You both have seen total eclipses now. How do you think that is a just a very interesting thing, or do you think it's a life-changing thing? How do you feel the eclipse affected you personally?
personally for me,
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, it was the second eclipse in a little more than 1 year. Both was amazing, and yes, absolutely. Uh, you know, for people like us that choose the business or educational programs or a lot of things about astronomy, because it's not for everyone. You can only sell telescope, or you can get another social compromise about only selling telescope. And you and me, we are similars in the business.
That's
Another maybe another people don't maybe take a distance between this. But for me, I am here because I really not only see the eclipses, if not share the sensations. And
yeah.
for me, maybe first I changed my life when I choose my career or my things in the life. But this my first eclipse was last year. I was really amazing of this. I thought that I say yes. This is the best way that I could choose, because I love this, and for me is the best way that I never could choose a better option in my life. It's
How
real.
about you, Daniel? What you've seen
Um,
the total eclipse, right? You saw the
yes, I saw one in Illinois as a boy. I was, I don't know, 6 or 7. And then several in California between 1984 and 2014. I think there were several. And I never got to travel to see totality until the 2017 eclipse.
all right.
And one of my sons was with me, and I traveled about 450 kilometers to get to totality. And we just were on the edge. We had totality for maybe 30 seconds, but it was so wonderful. And we were projecting the image of the eclipse through binoculars onto paper. We were watching the image of the eclipse underneath trees, because the light that comes down and filters through the trees, it's always circles of light, because the spaces between the leaves are effectively pinhole cameras. And as the eclipse was proceeding, I was pointing out to people, look at the shadows under the trees. They're all the crescents as the eclipse progresses. Um, and it was life-changing. It was amazing.
Yeah,
And experiencing it by yourself is nothing compared to experiencing it with other people.
I would agree. I would
Being
agree.
able to share it just made it so much more special and dramatic. And
That's right.
one of my
That would
sons
be
was
that would
there,
be
a
too
grandchild, a couple of
amazing
grandchildren were there, and
experience.
lots of other people. And I'm pointing things out to my grandkids and people who were it was a public park where we were in Missouri. And people started coming around, and it became an impromptu class. And I said, okay, well, you're all now in Dr. Barth's astronomy class. Let's all enjoy the eclipse. And everybody had a great time.
Yeah.
And it just, to actually physically see the movement of bodies in the heavens, and it's projected here on the earth for you. It's just like this conjunction. I've been watching this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction since July, and watching the two come closer together. And I point out to people, okay, Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, the moon, look, there's the curve of the ecliptic. That's the plane of the solar system. And oh my gosh, and people begin to see that the universe they live in is dynamic. It's moving, it's changing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden their cognitive awareness expands from, I'm a person sitting here on the globe, to I'm a person that's inside a solar system that's revolving and moving and changing, and I can see it and I can watch it. I can understand it. It's transformative for other people, and it's why I love to teach, because I tell my young teachers, teaching when it's done well leaves a mark. it leaves a mark that lasts forever.
Forever.
And
You're not getting out.
no, if a student gets into my class and then leaves and they're unchanged, I've done it. I'm doing something wrong. And the same thing when someone comes to an eclipse event. If they're not different when they leave, we haven't been doing it properly.
Yeah.
But I think we do a great job. I know, Cesar, I can just see from the smiles of all the people there in your photos, you're doing it right.
Yeah.
You're doing it right, and you're changing people forever.
Yes, absolutely.
They will never forget. Yeah.
No,
They'll never forget.
no.
Yeah.
They'll
Let me,
never.
you mentioned something about the, Jupiter and Saturn and the great conjunction that's coming
Right.
up December 21st. Marco Polo shared some live or some video before of seeing Jupiter in broad daylight. Okay, so he captured this sometime, I think, between 2:30 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But he went and did some image stacking and stuff, and so he showed me his result of what he was able to get. And mind you, this is daytime imaging. Okay, so let me see if I can find that real quick. Here it is. We're going to share that, and you can see.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can see Jupiter here. This is daytime stacking of Jupiter with wavelets applied. Now, in the other video, you could barely tell. You could start to see this dark belt a little bit, but and then
Saturn.
yeah, and here's Saturn and Jupiter.
You've got a couple of moons there too.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's very cool.
There's three. Wow.
Right, and then he took a video. Oh, this is from before, but this is Saturn, of course, kind of a detail of that, and so. Pretty cool that you could get that much detail from a daytime image. Okay.
That's astounding.
Jupiter.
Yes,
So,
it's not easy really at that time. Have
No.
very very low in the horizon. Yes. Oh no,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
right. Well, I want to thank you guys for both coming on to the show today. It was really great. Some comments. We had a lot of our regular viewers watching, and people learned from both of you today, and some of them wish that they had you as a science teacher. Okay, so which is totally cool. But we'll have both Daniel and Cesar on with us again.
Certainly.
Thanks for filling in today for Kent.
Happy to do that. And Scott, anyone out there who wants to contact me, astronomyforeducators@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And there's an Astronomy for Educators page on Facebook. And I know you have the link for the book, so I'm hoping lots of people will download. And I'm always happy to take questions for people who look at these activities and want to do them themselves or for their kids or in their classroom.
Yeah.
So.
I send you, Scott, the Facebook for if you'd like to share the Facebook of the Grupo Cities for the people to know more about their activities.
Oh, I see it. Yes, right there.
I
Grab that.
in the chat. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Terrific. And it's
you go.
wonderful, Scott. It's a wonderful opportunity as always to come
Thank
and
you so much.
to visit with your community and to share some of the fun toys. And people say, well, what do you do? Well, I make toys.
yes, it's the best. You're the best. You are genius.
Thank you.
And I
Really?
put in the chat also the video from on YouTube, A Private Universe. You should watch it. It's very enlightening. That people need to know. I mean, we've known about what creates the seasons and phases of the moon for a very, very
tides.
long time.
Yes.
This is not like recent stuff, okay?
No.
But you do need to watch it, and you'll understand why STEM demonstrations like of the type that Daniel just gave you is so important to share, not only with kids. You might think it's for kids, but no.
No.
It's for adults.
No.
University professors. This is for everyone, okay?
It is for everyone.
This is really kind. Really.
And I enjoyed it. Cesar is lovely to meet you, and I hope we'll get a chance maybe to do something in person someday when COVID goes away and the world comes back to
Oh
normal.
yeah, we'll have to get down there to Argentina.
Yes.
You know, Cesar
Sure,
makes
sure.
great pizza, so we want to have
Oh,
one
yes.
of those pizzas.
Asados and pizzas. No problem.
Okay. Thanks, and thanks everyone that participated in the chat today. And we will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's show, we will have astronomy popularizer Ron Sparkman on with us, and he's going to talk about his programs, how he got started, and all the rest of that. You know, he's the MC of the popular Space Fam that you see that's sponsored by OPT. Anyways, thank you very much, everyone, and we will see you
Thank you,
tomorrow.
Scott. Thank
Take
you.
care.